Good morning, students. I hope you all are doing good and safe by the grace of God. Let's start the class with the quote. Study like there's no tomorrow, because if you keep putting off your studies for tomorrow means you will probably be too late. Students, before we start a new topic, let's recall what we have studied in our last classes. Students, so far we have completed half of the lesson, hydrogen lesson. In that, we have studied about introduction and discovery of hydrogen, position in periodic table, isotopes of hydrogen, orthopara hydrogen, preparation of hydrogen or protium, deuterium and tritium, compounds of hydrogen, under that water and hardens of water. Today, we are going to discuss some interesting topic. Hope you will enjoy this class. Students, in the beginning, you would have studied about three isotopes of hydrogen, isn't it? What are they? They are protium, deuterium, and tritium. Protium contains one proton, one electron. Deuterium contains one proton, one electron, one neutron. Tritium contains one proton, one electron, but two neutron. In today's class, we are going to discuss only one isotopes of hydrogen, that is deuterium. Students, what is the another name for deuterium? The another name for deuterium is heavy water. So our first topic is heavy water. D2O. D2O means deuterium oxide. So deuterium oxide is also known as heavy water, and it is represented as D2O. Then heavy water was discovered by Urey in 1932. Then it is non-radioactive isotope. We all know that deuterium is non-radioactive isotopes of hydrogen. It is present in ordinary water to extent of 1 in 5000 parts of ordinary water. So, students, do you all know that heavy water ice will float or sink in normal water? Any guesses? Let's see. Look at this video. Students, if I drop ice cubes of ordinary water, that is H2O, in normal water, means what happens? It will float. At the same time, if I drop heavy water ice in normal water, means what happens? It will sink, as you can see in this image. Why is it so? Because heavy water is heavier than normal water. So that's why heavy water ice will sink in normal water. Now let's move on to the physical properties of heavy water. Look at this image. Heavy water D2O. Heavy water is colorless, odorless, and tasteless. Then both the ordinary as well as heavy water have the same appearance. But the physical properties of heavy water differ from those of the ordinary water due to difference in the atomic mass of hydrogen and deuterium. Look at this table so that you can get a clear-cut idea of the properties of ordinary water as well as heavy water. So here it is given molecular mass, melting point, boiling point, density, specific heat capacity, surface tension, etc. Next, we move on to the chemical properties of heavy water. The properties are just similar to that of ordinary water, so you will have no difficulty in learning them. But only just remember that these reactions are going to proceed much slowly in case of heavy water. So the first reaction is with active metals. So I hope you all remember that when an active metals like sodium, potassium, and calcium going to react with water, means what happens? It forms corresponding hydroxides and hydrogen gas will be evolved, right? So likewise, let us see the reaction of heavy water. In heavy water, we just replaced deuterium instead of hydrogen. So sodium reacts with D2O, that is deuterium oxide. It forms NaOD, which is sodium deutero oxide, and deuterium gas will be evolved. Similarly, a reaction with calcium, it reacts with D2O, it forms CaOD2, which is calcium deutero oxide, and deuterium gas will be evolved. The next we have the action with metal oxide. So metallic oxides, they are also called as basic oxides. When they react with water, they form the corresponding hydroxides. So here we will be forming the corresponding deutero oxides. We have the reaction as Na2O plus D2O forming NaOD, which is sodium deutero oxide. And calcium oxide reacts with D2O, it forms calcium deutero oxide. Fine, I hope this is clear. Shall we move on to the next one? Yes. The next one is the action with non-metallic oxides or acidic oxides. When these reacts with water, they form the corresponding acid. So here also when they will be reacting with heavy water means they will be forming the corresponding heavy acids. For example, we have N2O5. When this reacts with G2O, it forms the DNO3, that is deuteronitric acid. When there's going to be a reaction of P2O5, it reacts with D2O, it forms deuterophosphoric acid. Next one is SO3 reacts with the D2O, it forms D2SO4, which is a deuterosulfuric acid. So all the reactions that you have seen is of the non-metallic oxides with water. They are going to be just similar to that with heavy water, as well as forming the corresponding deutero acids. The next we have is the electrolysis of a solution of heavy water containing Na2CO3. So here again we will be saying on electrolysis it will be producing a deuterium gas at the cathode and oxygen at the anode. Next, we have the reactions with metallic carbides, phosphides, nitrites, etc. So these reactions are similar to which we have for the water. For example, look at these reactions. Calcium carbide react with D2O, it forming calcium deuteroxide and C2D2, which is deuteroacetylene. The same way, the aluminium carbide react with D2O, it forms aluminium deuteroxide and deuteromethane. Next, we have the reactions with metallic carbides, phosphides, nitrites, etc. So these reactions are similar to which we have for the water. For example, look at this reaction. Calcium carbide react with D2O, forming calcium deuteroxide and C2D2, which is deuteroacetylene. And aluminum carbide react with D2O, it forms aluminium deuteroxide and deuteromethane. Then calcium phosphide is reacts with D2O, it forms calcium deuteroxide and deuterophosphine. And finally, magnesium nitride reacts with D2O, it forms magnesium deuteroxide and deuteroammonia. So the next are the exchange reactions. These exchange reactions that will be saying when we will be adding hydrogen compounds into heavy water means the lighter hydrogen will be replaced by the heavier hydrogen. For example, we have the reactions like this. HCl plus G2O, it forming DCl plus HOD. So the lighter isotope will getting replaced by heavier isotope. The same way, sodium hydroxide is reacts with D2O, forming NaOD plus HOD. And NH4Cl react with D2O, it forms ND4Cl plus 4HOD. So these are the chemical properties of heavy water. Next, we move on to the uses of heavy water. Heavy water is used as a coolant and moderator of neutrons in the nuclear reaction, and it is used to prepare deuterium and deuterated compounds. It is used as a tracer in metabolic processes. It is used in nuclear magnetic resonance, that is NMR spectroscopy, and it is used in Fourier transform infrared FTIR spectroscopy of protein. And finally, it is used as a metabolic rate testing in physiology and biology. Next, we move on to a second topic, which you are familiar with it, I hope. That is hydrogen peroxide. Formula for hydrogen peroxide is H2O2. Hydrogen peroxide is a chemical compound with the formula H2O2. Other name for hydrogen peroxide is oxygenated water. In its pure form, it is a very pale blue liquid, slightly more viscous than water, and hydrogen peroxide is the simplest peroxide, and it is used as an oxidizer, bleaching agent, and antiseptic. Next, let's see how hydrogen peroxide is prepared. There are various methods for preparation of hydrogen peroxide, but we are going to see only two methods. First one is lab method. So, how can we prepare hydrogen peroxide in laboratory? Let's see. Look at this reaction. BaO2, which is barium peroxide. This barium peroxide should not be anhydrate, it should be hydrated. Whenever barium oxide or barium peroxide reacts with sulfuric acid, that the product we could get the barium sulfate, that is BaSO4, barium sulfate, along with that of H2O2 as hydrogen peroxide. The next method is Merck's method. Look at this reaction. Sodium peroxide treated with sulfuric acid, it forms sodium sulfate and hydrogen peroxide. Next, we move on to another process, that is auto-oxidation process. Industrially, hydrogen peroxide can be prepared by the auto-oxidation of 2-ethyl anthraquinone. Here, look at this. 2-ethyl anthraquinone is given. The air is bubbled through the 10 percentage of 2-ethyl anthraquinone in benzene cyclohexane mixture. When it reacts in the presence of a catalyst and adding a 2 hydrogen means what happens? Here we have a double bond, isn't it? Double bond O, double bond O. If we add one hydrogen here and one hydrogen here means what happens? Look at this reaction. It becomes a OH and OH. So one bond will come in, these two bonds will go inside. Then we get this one. When it is oxidized to 2-ethyl anthraquinone means, so here the hydrogen peroxide is produced as a byproduct and we will get a 1% solution of hydrogen peroxide. So this is the auto oxidation process. Next we move on to the physical properties of hydrogen peroxide. Pure H2O2 is a thick syrup liquid with a pale blue color, which is almost colorless. It is less volatile, more viscous and dense than water. So a 30% solution of H2O2 is marketed as 100 volume hydrogen peroxide, that is per hydrol. And 100 ml of oxygen is liberated by 1 ml of this solution on heating. Next, we move on to the chemical properties of hydrogen peroxide. First, we will see the decomposition reaction. So here, pure H2O2, which is hydrogen peroxide, is an unstable liquid decomposed into water molecule and oxygen. Look at this reaction. H2O2 decomposes into water molecule and oxygen. Hydrogen peroxide can act both as an oxidizing and as a reducing agent. So oxidation is usually performed in acidic medium while the reduction reaction are performed in basic medium. Let's see one by one. First one, acidic medium. Here you can see acidic condition. The reaction is like this. When H2O2 reacts with 2 proton and 2 electron, then the reaction will yield 2 molecules of H2O, that is water. For example, ferrous sulfate reacts with the sulfuric acid and hydrogen peroxide. It gives ferric sulfate or iron 3 sulfate. While in a basic condition, when HO2 minus reacts with hydroxyl ion, it forms oxygen and a water molecule and 2 electrons. For example, potassium permanganate react with H2O2. Hydrogen peroxide means it forms manganese oxide and potassium hydroxide. So these are the chemical properties of hydrogen peroxide. Next we move on to the uses of hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide is used in a daily life. Uses of hydrogen peroxide. Hydrogen peroxide is used for cleaning toilets, remove grass stains, clean stains from marble, sanitize cutting boards, remove blood stains, and then remove chocolate stains, etc. Students, when we should not use hydrogen peroxide? Any guesses? I'll tell you. Hydrogen peroxide can be used for the initial cleaning of a wound, such as a small scrape and abrasion, etc. Its bubbling action helps to remove debris that may be stuck in the wound, but it should not be used for large open wounds or deep cuts like this. Large open wounds or deep cuts or for a long time. Move on to the structure of hydrogen peroxide. Oxygen, hydrogen. So 2 oxygen and 2 hydrogen. Structure of hydrogen peroxide. Look at this image. Hydrogen peroxide molecule in the gas phase as a non-polar structure and it is like open book structure. Look at this. It is like open book structure. The bond length or oxygen to oxygen bond length is 1.47 Armstrong in gas phase and in solid phase 1.46 Armstrong. Then for OH bond length is given 0.95 Armstrong in gas phase, in solid phase 0.98 Armstrong or degree. Then for hydrogen, oxygen, and oxygen bond angle, here it is. It is given 94.8 degree, and here 101.9 degree. Then the angle between the planes containing the hydrogen atoms is 115.5 degree, and in solid phase 90.2 degree. The two oxygen atoms are joined by a single electron pair bond, as you can see in this image. Students, you can also see this table difference between gas phase and solid phase.
Okay, students, in today's class, what we have learned? We have learned about heavy water, physical properties, chemical properties, and uses of heavy water, hydrogen peroxide, physical properties, chemical properties, and uses of hydrogen peroxide. Hope you would have enjoyed this class.
Let's meet in the next class. Thank you, children.